We're the Vinyl Verdict. I'm Jacob.
I'm Michael.
And today we're going to talk about the Iveys single, soon to be known as Badfinger. The single is Dear Angie with the B-side No Escaping Your Love. Slated to be released in the UK in July of 1969, but that was never to be. Not really sure the reason, but Maybe Tomorrow was the only single released from their first LP. It was released in Europe in September in a number of countries and in Japan. So it's kind of debatably part of the single canon, but obviously it has unique mixes and everything like that. So although we never heard it, it was the second single that was released off that first album.
Well, Dear Angie I knew only as a track, didn't know about any single, knew it as a track on Magic Christian Music, which was under the name Badfinger, and it was such a strange thing because on the back it would say Badfinger R4, and it would mention Joey, and there was no mention of Ron Griffiths. And yet Dear Angie was on there. As a song, it was very different from the other songs on the album. I mean, cute, it was in the form of a letter, which was well done. Perhaps lighter than what was to come. It was the Ron Griffiths vocal on Magic Christian Music, the member who had been in the group, but at the time, at least we were listening to this album, no longer was. So there was all that going on.
Hard to picture it as a single. Anything other than Maybe Tomorrow just doesn't sound like a single to me from that album. But it makes sense. I think it's got the quaint mid-60s feel to it with nice backing harmonies and very catchy short refrain, the Dear Angie thing. So I liked also the mono mix of this quite a bit, which was the single version that was put out. A really nice cleaner bass sound. I don't like the reverb that's on like the Magic Christian version as much. I don't think either of us are big fans of this. It was tangential to the direction the band was going, and it's part of it obviously, and kind of the weirdness that if you were in some of these countries, you heard this, and then a couple months later, you have a different name for a band releasing a song like Come and Get It. It's a huge transformation that was coming, and I think this song really highlights.
It does have a nice segue out of the song by the minor key it goes into, and the descending Dear Angie going down and ending on the major. It was in a more innocent period the way it seemed, because there was heavier things coming, meaning much more involved music and not the Iveys kind of story songs.
I'll say about that though, I like the story songs because I think they're usually tongue-in-cheek, like the B-side will be, which we'll talk about in a second, and many of the other songs. This feels a little melodramatic to me, especially how much vibrato is on it. It's a little bit too much like a crooner ballad. I think it's kind of skirting that and making fun of it, but it seems a little bit close to the real thing. So the Iveys were always parroting that. And that's why getting into the B-side, No Escaping Your Love, which is the Tom Evans-driven pop song here. Again, similar to Her Daddy's a Millionaire, like 200 BPM or something crazy blasting through. Like I said, very tongue-in-cheek, like every line in here is almost a joke.
Well, the early Tommy songs, he was really dominant vocally on this earlier album. He was on a lot of tracks, and the effects they put on everything, which even when they did Come and Get It with Paul wanted him to do exactly as he wrote it. And he was aware of the Iveys doing effects in their songs and little things that they would do. And he said, just do it how I wrote it and do it exactly right. And because they did do songs like this and they had special effects, and No Escaping Your Love is really cute as anything in the world. And Tommy's voice wins every time. I mean, he really could belt it out. Once at one of the concerts we went to, I think someone shouted out, I'm in Love, which was a song, I believe, on the Magic Christmas, and they all laughed. And they got a big kick out of it. They looked at each other and chuckled. So they were miles away from these songs, but these songs were magnificent for what they represent. And
it's like it sounds like a cartoon version of themselves. You can almost picture it as like the intro to some kid's cartoon show. And like you said, there's just a constant barrage of these sound effects on it. You have like hand claps for 1 second, then they're gone. Then the backing vocals, then the cymbal rim shots, like cymbaling every single, punctuating every single note of that. And it's not something that you probably ever heard until it was on CD, right?
Correct. No, we never heard No Escaping Your Love. I knew Dear Angie.
The B-sides of both And Her Daddy's a Millionaire and No Escaping Your Love were excluded from the Maybe Tomorrow album, which is pretty interesting because I imagine they were recorded at the same time. Again, just like what a world of difference. The next B-side is Rock of All Ages, so crazy. Hope you enjoyed us going back and covering this one, and always love to hear a Badfinger single.